What if you discovered that time is the most valuable thing you own? What if every minute you waste today is an opportunity you can never get back? This is the story of a young man who learned that time is more valuable than money. Hello, my name is Michael. I am a student. I have a big dream. I want to build a successful future. I know that success does not come from luck. It comes from using time wisely. This is my story. You can read my story. You can learn English with me. When I was younger, I wasted many hours every day. I watched videos for too long, played games without stopping, and always said, I have plenty of time. My homework was always late. My grades became lower, and I felt disappointed with myself. One afternoon, my grandfather came to visit me. He looked at my phone and smiled. Then he asked me a simple question. Michael, if someone gave you $1 million, but asked for one day of your life in return, would you accept? I quickly answered, no, I would never sell one day of my life. My grandfather nodded and said, then remember this. Your time is more valuable than money. Money can return, but time never comes back. His words stayed in my mind all night. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. I made a simple plan for my day. I decided to study English for 1 hour, finish my homework before dinner, and spend less time on my phone. At the end of the day, I felt happy and proud. I had done more in one day than I usually did in a whole week. That was the day I learned a lesson I will never forget. Never waste time, because every minute you use wisely brings you one step closer to your dreams. The next week, I decided to follow my new schedule every single day. It was not always easy. Sometimes I wanted to sleep longer, and sometimes I wanted to spend hours on my phone. But I remembered my grandfather's words. Time never comes back. Those words gave me the strength to keep going. Every morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock. I made my bed, ate breakfast, and studied English before going to school. After school, I finished my homework first. Then I read an English story, learned 5 new words, and practiced speaking for 30 minutes. I also spent a little time exercising because I wanted both my mind and body to become stronger. One afternoon, my friend James asked me, Michael, why are you always so busy now? I smiled and answered, because I finally understand that every minute is important. I don't want to waste my future by wasting my time. James thought about my answer and said, I should start using my time better too. From that day, we studied together every afternoon. We encouraged each other, shared new English words, and helped each other improve. Week after week, we became more confident and more disciplined. Before I went to bed each night, I wrote one sentence in my notebook. Use your time wisely today, and your future will thank you tomorrow. Several months passed, and I began to see the results of my new habits. My life was changing little by little. I was no longer the student who wasted hours doing nothing. Instead, I became someone who planned every day carefully and tried to use every minute wisely. One morning, my English teacher announced an important exam. Many students looked worried because they had not prepared well. Some of them said they did not have enough time to study. When I heard those words, I smiled quietly. I knew I had already prepared by studying a little every day. I did not need to panic because I had used my time wisely. The exam day finally arrived. I walked into the classroom with confidence. I read every question carefully and answered them one by one. When I finished, I felt calm because I had done my best. A few days later, the teacher returned our papers. I looked at my score and smiled. It was the highest score I had ever received in English. My classmates congratulated me, and my teacher said, Michael, your success did not happen in one day. It is the result of the time you invested every single day. Those words made me realize something very important. After school, I went home and showed my parents my exam paper. They were very proud of me. My father smiled and said, Many people say they don't have enough time, but the truth is that everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how we choose to use them. I never forgot his advice. That evening, I looked at my notebook. Every page reminded me of the promises I had made months ago. Wake up early, study every day, read English books, learn new words, never waste time. I understood that success was not created by one great action. It was built by hundreds of small actions repeated every single day. Every hour I spent learning had made me stronger. Every minute I had used wisely had brought me closer to my dreams. Before going to bed, I wrote one final sentence on a new page. Time is the most valuable gift in life. If you respect your time, your future will reward you. From that day on, I promised myself that I would never waste another opportunity, because I knew that every minute could become the beginning of a better future. Years later, I often thought about the conversation I had with my grandfather. At that time, I did not understand how important his words were. Today, I know they changed my life forever. I finished school with good grades, improved my English, and achieved many of my goals. People often asked me, well, what is your secret? How did you become so successful? I always smiled and gave the same answer. I learned to respect my time. Many people believe that successful people have more opportunities, more money, or more luck. But I discovered something different. Every person has the same 24 hours each day. The difference is how those hours are used. One afternoon, I visited my old school. I met students who reminded me of myself years ago. Some were studying hard, while others were wasting time and saying, "I will start tomorrow." I stood in front of the class and shared my story. I said, "When I was your age, I wasted many hours every day. I thought I had plenty of time. Then one day, my grandfather taught me a lesson that changed my life. He said that money can be earned again, but time can never be earned back." From that day, I decided to use every minute wisely. The classroom became very quiet. Then I continued, "You don't need to be the smartest person. You don't need to be the richest person. You only need to make good choices every day. Read one more page. Learn one more English word. Practice a little longer." Small actions repeated every day create a successful future. When I finished speaking, the students clapped. Some of them came to thank me. One student said, "Your story inspired me. I will stop wasting time and start working for my dreams today." Hearing those words made me very happy because I knew my grandfather's lesson was now helping someone else. That evening, I returned home and opened my old notebook. The pages were old, but the message was still true. I picked up my pen and wrote one final sentence. Time is life's greatest treasure. Use it wisely, work hard every day, and never waste the chance to become the person you dream of being. I closed the notebook with a smile because I knew that every minute I had respected had become part of the life I was proud to live. The end. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. For more, learn English through story videos. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.